Welcome, everyone, to the Gray Zone. There is not the what music going on right now, but that is not because Rectify is not in our hearts. He's just not feeling well tonight. So this is the Gray Zone. I am Angela Black, and we are going to do some type of impromptu roundtable. Isn't that what it's all about anyway? So, yes. You know, I've got some great people offering to help. I believe that Noreen has joined me already, which is exciting because that's a marathon. If you're already doing a roundtable,
yeah, it is, and you know that's why I might just kind of lurk. I don't know how much I have to add. Well, we'll just see, you know. But I'm here. So.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for your support, Chicky Boo. I love you. And I do have to say that apparently the normal number that exists for callers is not the number to call tonight if you do want to join the roundtable. Tonight it is 562-912-3502, and hopefully we'll be able to put that in the chat room. And let me do the business here of Revolution Radio, which is you are listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the number one 100% listener-supported radio station on the net. That's right, we are 100% listener-supported, which means we need you to help keep this free speech thing alive. And you can find yourself on our station. There's a donate button, there's a site support button, and we would love for you to, just peruse, figure out how you can help us be awesomer, awesomest, all that kind of stuff. I don't even know if I'm making sense, but I like to try. And let's see what else. So you can get there, and then if you do a donation, you can find yourself with awesome prizes of sorts. I got the seed pack last year, the 35,000 seeds. I think you donate $100, and and I have to tell you, I'm having some late blooming tomatoes from those seeds, and a few other things. I planted a bunch of squash, except for I don't have enough land to actually grow squash. I was trying to grow squash in a pot, but it doesn't really work because you really need, soil, land, and stuff like that. But nonetheless, I do have I think some peppers growing, some pea pods, also tomatoes, and what else has some cucumbers tried to grow, and I think I got one green bean. I did.
One green bean.
What?
You gotta treasure it when you if you're gonna eat it. Are you gonna frame it? Are you gonna frame it?
No, I ate it. I did, and I thanked my higher power for that bean. I did. There's a lot of people who, maybe are stuck in the ramen world and don't even know what a green bean tastes like. So I have to tell you, a fresh grown green bean is heaven on earth, I think. Yeah.
Oh, why is it, Angela, when I come on these shows, people talk about food, which is fine, but it makes me hungry.
Yeah, I'm a food talker.
Makes me hungry.
I just got some fresh coffee brewed, which I'm very excited about. But you were earlier in your show, which, by the way, everyone, Noreen Helphand visiting here on the Gray Zone. Noreen's show Wild at Heart airs here just before this particular show on Monday nights. Is that right?
Yes.
Go ahead. We want to give the spiel, Noreen?
That would be Wild at Heart is technically on the schedule is listed as Tuesdays midnight Eastern Standard Time. But as you know, Angela, we live here on the West Coast, so for us it's Monday. So that'd be Monday 9 o'clock for me. But Eastern Standard Time 12 midnight is according to the schedule.
Cool. I just got a wonderful supportive text from an individual that may or may not want to be named. I'm going to go ahead and leave her name out, but thanks, you know who you are. So anyway, yes, apparently I'm making sense, which is very exciting for me.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, okay, so 9 p.m. Pacific, but midnight Eastern on Tuesday mornings for Wild at Heart with Noreen Helphand. And that is Laura Lee Solomon she's co-host, or how does that work? You want to give us your spiel about your show? I would like that.
Yeah, let me see.
Is it your show?
Oh, yes. Well, it's my roundtable.
Right, it's your roundtable. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I guess, on the station when you say it's a roundtable, it's not, it is a show, but it's not, like a titled show, right? The roundtables are they can be titled, like the Gray Zone, for example, or Chilean Info Warriors, which is Laura Lee's. Mm-hmm. And mine's Wild at Heart, so it is titled, you're right. But it isn't a show where the central character is the host, right?
Speak for yourself, girlfriend. No, just kidding.
Oh, no. Hey, that's a compliment, and I take it well. But I'm just, for the listeners, who may be wondering, what are they talking about, shows versus roundtables, Basically, the idea of a roundtable is just people come in and call in. It's kind of free form. But you know what? We do sometimes have, quote-to-quote, special guests on, right, once in a while.
Yeah.
And those are always fun when we do have people pop in like that. And I'm known to be kind of diplomatic, but I can be firm if I want and know what to do, hopefully. And I like to have a roundtable where I'm very where I am not the central star. Yes, I am the person who's, I guess my persona is a part of it, but it's not, we invite people on, and I like to have my roundtables to be, let's say the keyword would be variety. I like to have fun, but I like to have serious topics. I like a mixture. I'm not a one-trick pony, right? So, yeah.
Noreen Helpan, not a one-trick pony. Very nice. Very nice. And I love that about you. And you've been very supportive to me over the time that we've known each other, as I hope I've been to you. It's a wonderful place that we have here, this platform that we've been given by the one, the only Nighthawk, who has created this station with the idea of free speech in mind. And it's just amazing. We have studios A and B. We have 75 or 80 hosts now? Something crazy. So if you're looking for, new age talk, or you're looking for, I don't know if that's even a phraseology, new age talk, but, that, or, UFO stuff, you can find that here. You're also, privy to political speak, we are not, supported by, campaigns or political agendas, thank God. So that type of thing. But people will often explore what's going on in the world regarding, politics, regarding war, regarding drought, regarding, fracking, all kinds of things that are really important and on the table presently, looming World War III, things, tomorrow we have the blood moon. That's a good topic, I mean, depends on how you feel about that, but that is, it is an astrological event, and that's going to be very exciting. I think it happens actually technically Wednesday morning, but it starts tomorrow night, kind of, sort of, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I have, in a little bit, I'm going to run, not at this moment, I'm going to get during the break, my issue of Mountain Astrologer. Because I don't, you guys, I'm really not rich. I'm on a budget, but somehow every year I manage to, keep my subscription to Mountain Astrologer. I love that magazine, and it does talk about all the stuff, blood moons and the dates, and it's a really great, I'm promoting their magazine, but no, it's a great magazine, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So it's called the Mountain Astrologer?
Astrologer.
Mm-hmm. Nice. All right. Well, I do have, this is a video, but there is just a little facty situation here that I can get into. It's not Halloween yet, but that doesn't mean the moon can't get a little freaky. The second blood moon of the year will light up the sky. Oops, hold on. Ooh, I just heard some terrible thing in my background. Eek! Hold on, I was reading something, but I just lost my way. Can you guys hear that? Tell me no.
I hear what?
Oh, good. Oh, my goodness. I just heard this big video thing playing in my ears. Live radio. Anyway, I'll find another article on that. I was reading it, and then all of a sudden this advertisement came into my ears, and I'm just glad you guys couldn't hear it. So, anyway, if you guys want to call on this particular roundtable, the number is, once again, 562-912-3502, or you can find me as This Blue Monkey on Skype and add me as a contact. I will add you. And then also, I believe Just in Time is available, lurking in the background, making sure things go smoothly. And if you do not have access to my Skype, then I think old_miser is also available for Skype tonight. And Freedom Screen, as always. I'm not really sure how that all works, but one of those three Skype names will get you access to calling into this show, which is the Gray Zone. I'm here tonight in place of, not really, covering for my dear friend and co-host Rectify, who is the creator of the Gray Zone, and joined by Noreen Helphand right now, host of Wild at heart. So there we go. Let's see. So what's on your mind? I mean, I've got some articles. I'm just wondering if there's anything that is burning in your soul that you want to talk about, Noreen. Thank you so much, by the way, again, for joining me. Anything on your mind?
You know what? I probably do. But why don't you give me a minute? You go first.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
All right. Let's see. I think I'm going to go to GMO mosquitoes.
Okay.
Which always freak me out. I mean, who doesn't love their, localized GMO mosquito? So there are, this is coming from Natural News. No, I'm sorry. This is coming from Blacklisted News. Those are two of my favorite websites, by the way, Natural News and Blacklisted News, both .com. And the source of this is Natural Society. The title of this article is First GMO Mosquitoes. Now, Oxitec wants to release GMO moths in New York. So we're talking about GM, which is genetically modified mosquitoes. And now we're going to talk about genetically modified moths. So you've got, genetically modified insects flying around you. Congratulations. So here we go. GM mosquitoes developed by Oxitec, a UK company, were already released in another country or in other countries as a means to control disease. The company is trying to release them in the Florida Keys while working with while working to release GM olive flies in Spain. But it gets even more bizarre. Now Oxitec wants to release GM moths in New York. GeneWatch UK has been following Oxitec's moves and has noted that the company's GM experiments have not undergone environmental assessment risks at all. The company is a spin-off from a multinational seed company with deep ties to your favorite company and mine, not Monsanto, but its, competitor and equally evil cohort, Syngenta. All right, Oxitec claims to be in the business of pest control, but another theory is that they're in the business with other eugenicists for pest creation. Open release experiments using Oxitec's GE Aedes aegypti mosquitoes are ongoing in Brazil and Panama. Though the genetically modified mosquitoes are being released in these experiments, and they differ from Oxitec's GE agricultural pests in that both sexes of the GE mosquitoes are genetically engineered to die at the late larval/pupal stage. So I don't know, they're releasing them and then apparently they die right away, but they're supposed to possibly mate with other insects and then kill them or something like that. I want to get into bees in a little while, I think, but I'm just going to continue with this article for the present moment. And let's see. So there is no guarantee that this type of genetically modified animals is a manipulation of the natural world and that it would not result in serious ramifications up and down the food chain. For example, if one species of mosquitoes replaces another, more virulent breed of mosquitoes, they are likely to fill the void, possibly causing further crop damage and even the spreading of viral disease in humans. These are possibilities, folks. Just remember that. So, while you're trying, it's just like, using hand sanitizer at all of the public facilities. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some nasty stuff out there, and you obviously want to protect yourself from that, but it does create superbugs in the long run. So, you really have to look at that particular, big picture, and if you are looking to get a job with an agricultural biotech firm, think again. Maybe you should go, into the anti-situation of such. I don't know. Okay, so the spreading of dengue or malaria, for example, could become absolutely catastrophic with these genetic manipulations, even though they are being presented as a solution to these maladies. Furthermore, birds, bats, and other creatures rely on mosquitoes as a source of food. When a major food source for just one animal is interrupted, it often results in the demise of that species, but it also affects the animals that rely on that species for food. And the chain goes up. You think about it. One animal, basically affects the next on the level of the food chain. And it goes all the way up to the top. I mean, really. And we're watching that in different environmental disasters all around the world right now with, the deaths of, massive amounts of fish in the sea or birds in the sky, this type of thing. You have your algae bloom, for instance, in in the Great Lakes area and probably other areas as well, and that can cut off oxygen from say said under surface water level animals, and so while the algae may be flourishing because of different new chemical compounds in the water, that does not mean that it's helping all of the animals that are basically surviving in the ecosystem that moves up the chain. So I hope that made sense. Anyway, the USDA is now considering granting Oxitec a 3-year pass to do open field trials of genetically modified moths, allowing them to release 14 million of these altered pests on crops meant to destroy other pests that damage broccoli and cauliflower fields. We've just seen how great biotech is at pest control with glyphosate, and now they want to start releasing GM bugs. It seems like a really bad Hitchcock film, says the article. Any comments, Maureen?
It's all science fiction. I mean, I don't mean science fiction as is not true. But it's just so complicated in how they manifest these things. It's almost kind of like a systemized murder scheme.
Yeah, exactly.
It's to say that insects have some tie-in with this is kind of odd because evolutionary wise, thinking insects being kind of, not the bottom of the line, of course. You got amoebas, but
yeah.
Why would it be the insect is key to, in this particular story, I wonder how the insect plays a role of, like this catalyst. It's like,
yeah,
why the insect?
Right, exactly. Well, and that's what I was talking about with the algae and that type of thing. When you're looking at one genetically modified situation and then the food chain, going up in levels and everything, happening, it's, you look at a pesticide and, the insect eats the pesticide, the bigger animal eats the insect, the next level up, and then all of a sudden you're looking at humans, and this is a cumulative aspect of pesticides, being intrinsic now in each of these particular levels of the food chain, and it gets a little scary. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are people who say that, I'm full of baloney and that, we're all worrying a little too much about this type of thing, but I think it's very important to at least be aware of, regardless of if we can make a change. I don't work at Syngenta, I don't work at Monsanto, et cetera. So, and I'm not a bioengineer of these particular insects, et cetera, but I am aware, and I think that's important because I've come across so many people in the day-to-day world that I live in that have absolutely no concept of what we're talking about right now, and I think that, that is where, we come into play here at Revolution Radio and other truth networks as well, is just to at least open your mind, have people do their own research, look into, what may trickle up the food chain, if you will, and basically, just see what's happening, because, bees are dying, for instance, that type of thing. Hold on, I'm getting a Skype. Let's see is that you? Ah, there we go. Let's do that. You want to do a station promo, Noreen?
I did my own earlier. You want to do it?
Okay, well, I did that at the beginning of the show, but I will go ahead. Yeah, I did, but that's okay.
I'm so sorry. You don't have to do it again. I guess I thought I heard you. It's Mercury retrograde. I'm sorry.
It is.
I'm a little bit anal about station promos, and I'll tell you why. I am because of things like Mercury retrograde. I mean, because you get into a topic or you get your head and you're just like, oh, did I do a promo? We got to be grateful to be on the station, and I always have to remember that. So, but anyway, go ahead.
Absolutely, I completely agree. A lot of people are, people get big for their britches and that type of thing, and it's very interesting to watch. People have a platform and then, sprout and branch, and that's fine. I think that's great. If you watch your path grow into, said fruited tree, that's terrific. But in the meantime, this station has provided a platform for all of us. We've met great friends here, that type of thing. I've met you, I've met, Rectify, Dory, Justin, Hyro, Wally, Olive, everybody. I mean, there's just so many people. Sindolo. I should probably go through the list of the chat room, don't you think? Should we do it?
Yeah, sure.
There's a ton of them there. Okay, so we've got Karen, we've got Vibes, we've got Dory, myself, we've got JP, who I believe took over the entire operation over at Wolf Spirit Radio upon...
Really?
Yes, I believe that JP is now the owner of Wolf Spirit Radio after Dave Corso sadly passed away.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're our family here, and that's amazing. I'm just going to bring up some people in the chat room. We might as well. Abiday. We have Australian Paul lurking about.
Oh, hey, I haven't seen him in a while. Hey, dude.
Yeah, exactly. He's always fun. He's been here since the beginning, which is pretty cool. I remember back in the day, we were chatting back then. We have a banjo-picking gal. Big John is in the house. And
hey.
You guys have to call in, by the way. You know how to Skype me. I'm at This Blue Monkey. Or you can always Skype old_miser, I believe it is, and a Freedom Screen as well. And the number to call in, just in case you guys want to check in, and let's have a talk. The number is 562-912-3502. So if you guys can remember that would be great, because it is not the normal 347 number, because I believe the big man is asleep and does not have capabilities to switch that automated call over. So, moving on, we've got Brian, we've got a bunch of Change Me's. By the way, if your name is Change Me in the chat, that means change me. It means go into your chat name and highlight it. And, pick a name, pick a chat name. That would be awesome. We would love to have you identify yourself. We have Sindolo, Cortec, Gopscotch, which is an interesting name, Heather Holman in the house. And let's see, Lioness, Lozo, Mr. Rowe. We have a Noodles in the house. Hey, Noodles. And then, of course, Noreen S17, Simply Red 777, Smelly Kid, Stardust Man, how are you? And thanks for calling in last week. Shunga Zone and Sun Lover, Thunderbird, Wally, always a pleasure. He was on your show tonight, yes, Noreen?
Yes, he was.
That's awesome. He's a great guy. And we have Why Not and Zap. And by the way, oh my gosh, I have to tell you this. So Zap, whenever I say hello to him in the chat room, and you guys, it's www.freedomslips.com. If you're not in the chat, you're missing half the show, so please do join us there in the chat room. Register yourself a nickname and, join in the fun. So Zap always says hello, but he puts this little O with a slash. And I've always tried to figure out what that is. Is that like, a person's face and they're just, putting their arms out? I realized it's a head, like a human head, waving hello with like a slanted, raised up arm. And I figured it out the other day and I was like, oh my God, I'm a genius. So anyway, Zap, finally figured out your symbology. Just want to say that. So you guys have to call in. Duh. Okay, call in just in time. Kind that he is. Just put in the number in the chat room. It is 562-912-3502. I just wanted to bring that up. So, okay. And I'm lucky enough to have Noreen joining me today. And I know it's a marathon for you, by the way, because you're doing your wonderful show right before this.
You make it a pleasure.
Oh, you're a doll. Well, and so do you. All right, let's see. I have a bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about, but it kind of came at last minute that I was going to be kind of taking the show today. I was actually not feeling all that great today, and I know Rectify's down himself tonight. So here I am anyway, meeting the task. And let's see, what have I got? The bees. Let's see. A million reasons why bees are dying. Okay, and this came out a couple of months ago, but there's some new articles as well. It's going to be a video. I hate that. I don't hate the videos. I just hate the fact that I dislike the fact that occasionally a video will play while I'm trying to read an article to the wonderful listeners here.
Yeah, that can be annoying. It's like Yeah,
exactly. Okay, well, anyway, in the past several weeks, and now we're looking at a few months, a spate of studies have appeared in scientific journals suggesting that the culprit behind mass death of honeybees is, hold on a second, let's see if hopefully I won't lose the call, you guys. I think I did it correctly. Wally.
Yay, it's a Wally man.
Welcome.
Yeah, I got to get to bed sometime. It's 2:30 right now, but I figured at least, come on. In fact, I got to get, Rectify isn't feeling too well, huh?
No, he's not feeling well today. That's too bad. I loves me my Rectify. And he's given me a chance to stay here on Revolution Radio as his co-host on the Gray Zone, which is every Tuesday morning at 2 a.m. Eastern until 4 a.m., which is late, isn't it? Or early, depending.
It's early in the morning.
Yeah. And so are you in the Eastern time zone, Wally?
Unfortunately, I am.
Yeah, we're a little lucky on this end of the continent.
Yeah, it ain't even midnight here yet, girl. Rub it in, Rhino. Just joking.
It's funny. Okay, so I'm talking about bees, Wally, and I hope that you can hang out for a little bit anyway, at least maybe until the top of the hour.
Yeah, I'll try to hang out then.
Right on. Okay, so yes, bees dying, honeybees. So basically they're looking at the cause of this being pesticides called neonicotinoids. Okay, so in other words, like a version of nicotine. I mean, that's what it's saying, neonicotinoids. So I'm assuming that nicotine is a part of that particular situation or the idea of nicotine. Nicotinoids, seriously. On June 23rd, President Obama signed a memorandum establishing the first ever federal pollinator strategy, and the Agriculture Department announced $8 million in incentives to farmers and ranchers in 5 states who established new habitats for honeybees. So it is a severe situation. When the bees start dying, it's not looking good for a lot of the ecosystem. You really look at pollination and that type of thing. What are they going to do? Make robo bees to pollinate next? Seriously, it's a little freaky. So Italian honeybees hover around the suit of beekeeper Robert Harvey. So this is a particular little moment in time that they're capturing as he transfers bee colonies from a blueberry field near Columbia Falls, Maine. So last year, 23.2% of the country's managed honeybee colonies died, which is higher than the acceptable rate of about 19%. Ugh. That's freaky also, according to a report from a group supported by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Bees pollinate plants that provide much of the food that we consume, including apples, watermelons, and coffee beans, and berries, and then, again, just in general, flowering plants and oxygen and that type of thing. It's all interconnected. There is no less important entity in the ecosystem, if you ask me. What do you guys think?
Bees are the most important because it's not most of our food, all of our food.
Right.
And I've noticed a decrease in honeybees around here.
Okay, and you're in exactly where?
A little town called Carr Settlement.
In what state again?
Michigan.
Oh, you're in Michigan, right. And you're in the Eastern time zone?
I'm in the Eastern time zone, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I mean, you cross the lake and you're in, Central?
Yeah, exactly. I grew up in Wisconsin. That's Central, yes.
That's Central over there, so. But, I didn't have luck with tomatoes this year.
Yeah, I'm having late blooming tomatoes and very, very little fruit, personally.
Of course, we lost most of our fruit while I lost my trees due to frost this spring. It's not going to happen next year.
Wow. And why is that?
I'm going to pay closer attention, and Big John has given me some pointers, and I will use them. But I just didn't have those pointers quick enough this year.
Wow. Well, that's tough. And so you have how many trees?
Right now I have 5.
Uh-huh.
And they're Honeycrisp. And, the state of Washington also has Honeycrisp. And those apples are not the same. The two they may be called Honeycrisp, but they're total different taste. In fact, I was thinking about getting with one of the local apple Honeycrisp growers and putting a gift box together and send them out. People can order a gift box of these Honeycrisp apples because they're so juicy, crisp, and sweet. Have you ever had a Honeycrisp apple before, Angela?
I can't honestly say that I remember a particular Honeycrisp apple, but it sounds yummy.
Yeah, they're the best.
Wow. I mean, I remember growing up, there were Red Delicious and all those types of apples around Wisconsin. So I don't know. Washington obviously may have. You're saying the state of Washington grows the Honeycrisp?
No, they grow a Honeycrisp, and so do we up here in Michigan.
Uh-huh.
And totally different. They're the same apple, but they're totally different. Growing conditions in different parts produce a different product.
Exactly. Soil, air.
Different taste, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We've been joined by Heather, by the way. I just wanted to welcome Heather to the call.
Hi.
Hey, welcome to the call. Welcome to the Gray Zone, Heather. We miss Rectify.
Yes.
I know. He should be here. I think I might lure him at least at the top of the hour and ask him to call into his own show.
I'm sure he's listening, but that's why I'm kind of apprehensive to present what I dropped by. He probably wouldn't appreciate it, but since he's not here.
Okay.
I was looking online and I was thinking, how retarded America and like the way that we think has become, because I tried to promote breast milk today and I got a more positive response than I usually gotten. But I put it on Facebook one time, breast milk ice cream, and everyone was repelled by it. And we wouldn't have a problem. We wouldn't have to worry about Ebola. We wouldn't need vaccines. We wouldn't need to worry about all the things that we're all hairballed about.
Well, it depends on the health of the mother,
Well, when I saw today, I saw a picture of a black, and I hope I'm not misunderstood, but how the slaves used to breastfeed the plantation owner children.
Yeah, well, that's because they had the milk inside of them to do it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, or whatever. So there's a will, there's a way.
Sure.
And does it have to be that personalized, really?
Yeah, but you do know that, I don't know if adults really need breast milk. I'm not saying we do or we don't. Not really clear on the stats of how that affects adults, but that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. I honestly have to say that it doesn't sound like something I'd look into.
Me neither.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm right. So I don't know what to say. I have a former co-host that is in the process of being a proprietor of donkey milk and donkey cheese. So so who am I, to pinpoint, what milk is right for you.com.
Well, that's a good stance. That's a good.
Or is it kicking the ass cheese?
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. It would be called.
Well, the goat is the most preferred.
Yeah, I love goat cheese, but I can't say I've really ever consumed goat milk. I can't.
I was raised on goat's milk and breast milk.
Oh, there you go. And how long in your youth were you raised on breast milk?
Breast milk probably until I was maybe a year and a half. My mom didn't do it for very long, but then she got pregnant with my brother. So when I was 5 for a while, I got some, but at that time we also were on a farm and we had goats.
Uh-huh.
And we would take the mom goat would have baby goats, and we'd take the milk from the mom goat, and then we'd put vitamins, or I don't know what they were doing genetically or whatever, but I would get that milk, and the baby goats would get the milk, and that went on until I was 6, and then after that, when I went to just regular dairy stuff, I wasn't healthy.
Okay, wow. Okay,
yeah.
Listen, I wanted to just interject really quick and welcome Dory Bar to the call. And hello, Dory.
Hello, love. How are you?
Good. Long time no speak.
I know. It's been forever. No, I was just waiting, in the background, just saying, hey, the girl's on. I'll wait.
Oh, you're very sweet. Thank you so much. And I think we've been added by 870. I think we've added the 870 area code to the call. Are you there?
Yes,
No?
I am.
Oh, hello. And who is this?
This is Stardust, man, out of the chat room.
Oh, it's Stardust, man. What's up, man?
Hey, Stardust Man.
Yeah,
Thanks, everyone, for joining.
I just was kind of interested about the bees and all that stuff. And,
Yes.
And, I posted a little something in the chat room, and what I wanted to say is, like, I cannot type that fast, okay? And it's about the, like the Georgia Guidestones, about the reduction of the population of the Earth. And I just kind of wonder if, I'm sure there's several different things they want to accomplish, but I just kind of wondered if part of the reason they spray that I want to say a different word, but we're not supposed to say it on A. Okay.
Crap? Does crap work? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe their goal is to kill the pollinators out there. If those plants don't get pollinated, they don't put out no food, and if they don't put out no food, people starve. And could that be a possible thing?
Absolutely. I mean, it is one of the main reasons why all the bees are dying. I mean, if not the main reason, is pesticides and that type of thing. DDT is what Heather put into the Skype chat. Thank you, Heather. Yeah, DDT, basically any type of pesticide that's not organic. And then again, it's funny. I had an invasion of bees one time in Los Angeles. I was living at a particular apartment complex. And I was facing, gosh, what corner would that be? Hold on, I'm asking my husband right now. Is that like northwest? Northeast? Northeast corner. And these bees would all come in and land, I guess like every 5 years, that's what I found out later, just a huge swarm of bees would colonize or at least, basically invade particular corner units facing northeast in Burbank on different buildings that were all facing the same way. And there must have been 1 million bees by the time the 4-day process was over. And, they were coating my balcony up there. And this was what year, Bill? Like 97, 98, like 98, something like that, like 1998. And, it was freaky at the time because they got into my fireplace through apparently some type of flaw in the construction, and there was an opening, and they were all of a sudden invading my fireplace. And I was supposed to be gone that weekend, and my cats would have been there left alone with thousands of bees were coming in through my fireplace. And I remember the unfortunate solution of what had happened, which was, maintenance came in, they tarped the whole thing over, they threw some pesticide in, and they wet-vacked all these bees. I mean, there must have been, if not 1 million, at least 500,000 bees in my fireplace, and in that whole area. It was really freaky because the entire apartment was buzzing, but at the same time, I'm sure they were just doing what they naturally do. I had been told that 5 years prior, these bees had visited the same, corner units in this particular complex, etc. And, it was so sad to watch all these bees be wet-backed up and being pesticide, poisoned, etc. And I think about it to this day, and I think about, the fact that we're, experiencing this loss of bees, etc. And I think, wow, how stupid are we as people?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You talk about DDT, which has been outlawed. I mean, made illegal to use as pesticide for many years now. But I went to an auction. It's been a few years ago. I mean, a number of years ago, 5, 6, 7, whatever. And I went to this auction, like a place like out in the country, and they had these glass bottles. There was DDT in the bottles, right? And when they went to auction them out, they got out there and they said, we are not allowed to auction off the DDT chemical, whatever, we are auctioning off these glass bottles, not the contents. And they just really put it out there that they're auctioning off just the glass bottle and not the contents, which, is like a stupid idiot would not realize, hey, this is my opportunity to buy DDT, and therefore government.
Are you guys there?
Mm-hmm.
That was
Hello.
great.
Yep.
I accidentally pushed the wrong button. Oops, my God. So sorry, I was clicking on something and I guess I brought up the window. So, okay, 870, that's Stardust Man. If you want to call back, I know he was in the middle of a speech. I feel really bad. Sorry. Okay, so anyway, we were talking about DDT and bottles of DDT being auctioned. So hopefully he'll call back. And I wanted to get Dory's take real quick. Dory, thanks for calling in, by the way, or thanks for letting me drag you in.
Oh, anytime, girl. You know it.
So how do you feel? What's going on in the desert these days? I mean, are you guys seeing any bees, etc.?
Actually, we have them. We had a nest above my...
Angela.
Okay, I didn't do that.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, up here yet again.
No, that's what I'm saying is I didn't do that. I thought
I
I
didn't
didn't do it the last time. Okay, hold
It's
on.
Mercury
Yeah,
retrograde.
like I did not do that, and it just happened again. And I thought I did it the first time, but I'm now noticing I don't think I did. So, okay, everyone is back.
I'm back.
Because
Yeah, I think we're all back. Yeah.
I did not hit the button. I don't know what just happened. That was very weird. Okay, anyway, welcome back to the call. This is the Gray Zone, and I apologize, Stardust Man, for I believe it's Daryl. Is that correct?
Yes.
Hi, Daryl. I'm going to let you finish your thought, but while you were gone, because of some weird, accident thing that just happened, which I thought was me, but then it happened again, I was asking Dory about her situation over in the desert with the bees, and then I'd like to get back to you after that's done, Daryl. So, Dory, please do continue.
Well, I came home. My husband dropped me off, and I saw one of our, guards, spraying the stuff in the air. I'm like, what's going on? I was underneath them, and all these bees kept falling on me. I'm like, well, I'm allergic to bees, so what are you doing? He goes, oh, there's a wasp nest up there. I'm like, seriously? Which is weird for us, because you have them out in the desert, but not like this. And there was 400 bees falling on me. I'm like, just knock it off, because I'm yelling at them. I have a company come in, they do the smoke, they take them out.
Yeah.
They don't kill them, they just
Thank God.
take them out. They move on, yeah. And he goes, oh, I didn't see you down there. I'm like, I'm allergic, but don't do that. When you're freaking bees, I was all pissed off. And my husband's looking at me in the car going, what? Because he's going back to work. I'm like, just drive away, don't worry about it. But we have them constantly here. We have different bees than you have. Probably East Coast and West Coast bees are different. Our bees are yellowish, tinted antique color.
Mm-hmm.
And your guys, that's a good, that was a good English word. More vibrant and yellow and black and stuff. Ours look like they've been tanned,
Well, it is hot there.
Yeah, so they do their gig, and yeah, we don't kill them, we don't swat at them, we do nothing, we just let them go.
Yeah.
But we have plenty of bees here. But, to think that you're going to take away bees, which pollinate everything, what an abomination that would be for our planet. It's like taking away the whales.
Yeah.
Well, you need the music in the ocean to make it live. You have to learn why we're here and what we have to do. And yeah, it's a matrix, I get it. But I think they're dying just even from the GMOs.
Yeah.
That they can't handle this plantage, the crap that we're not doing it. Let's just remember this first of all. We're not doing this.
Right.
When we keep saying we as human beings, we're not doing this. This is already pre-amped. This is someone else doing this to us. But I just think we're more powerful than that. I don't believe that, we're going to get rid of these, the bugs and the bees and the trees and the grass and, our regular corn, and we're not going to get sick from this. Well, it has to do with us. So you could fight all you want with it, but I think if we just ignore it and just let it go, it has to leave. Once you pay attention to something, I think nowadays it grows, more and more. I know that kind of sounds crazy, but I think we pay attention to so much that we get, discombobulated, we're not paying attention.
Okay, so you're saying if we ignore what?
Just don't deal with the crap.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know what you love and, be grateful for whatever you have. Be humble. The bees and everything else will come to you. They'll just come. But I just think with the stuff going on nowadays, it's getting to the point to where we're really getting crucified. And I think everyone's feeling that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are we going to do? Replace everything with robo insects, robo bees? They're making those things, and it's very interesting. You wonder why they're making them, and it's because we're killing off. Well, they, whomever.
Right, they are, yeah.
Exactly. They're killing off all of the natural, lower end of the ecosystem totem pole. And what's interesting is, we consider insects to be lower end of the totem pole because they're small and, they feed off the plants and then the bigger animals eat them, et cetera, et cetera. But what's interesting is the population, at least up until maybe now, of insects is so astronomical compared to like the population of humans and that type of thing that it's very interesting to mess with that particular, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess eco totem pole, if you will. You know what I mean? The ecosystem in general and removing certain populations of insects, et cetera. Hold on, my husband was in the background. What's that though?
That's the ecosystem.
Oh, ecosystem. Yeah, everyone, my husband in the background is Bill. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill. Hi, Bill.
He's kind of halfway sleeping.
Hi, Bill.
Anyway, so yeah, you look at what fuels business. What fuels business? Money. What fuels money into business? The market for such. What is that? Well, if they kill all the dang insects, then they've got to create robo-insects to pollinate, etc. And is that a good thing? I don't think so. I think when they come up with a hive mentality for robotic insects, etc., we're looking at an entirely different world, because, who's to say that those particular hive mentality insects created by humans won't adapt into some type of, and I'm sorry, I know I'm going way into sci-fi land right now, but won't adapt into some type of, quote unquote intelligence that takes over to the next level, and who knows what the heck's going on then. Regardless of, the death of all of these, wonderful creatures. Now, I don't kill insects anymore, by the way. I have to say that before I continue with asking everyone, and I think we're going to head into a break pretty soon. But, I don't kill insects anymore.
I don't either.
Yeah, I stopped, and I remember when insects would come into my house when I was, not as aware as I am now. And, that would be the thing to do, just kill the dang insect. Now, I do my best to catch them and take them outside no matter what it is.
Yeah, we cup them. You cup them, right?
Exactly.
Yes. Like a sheet underneath them and they put them outside. Yeah, we do it constantly, yeah.
With arachnids, with insects.
And doing so, you know what? I've caught some really weird things.
Yeah, there's some crazy ones. We've got like this metallic, see-through bug winged thing, and I'm like, whoa, that's like neon. I mean, you could take that to the club and light it up, you know what I mean?
That sounds like it's been designed in a lab.
Yeah, it looks like it's been designed in a lab. So anyway, just to finish that thought that, wow, pesticides, insects, robotic mentality, insects, what's next? It's crazy. And I know we're going to head into a break. I wanted to ask Daryl what your thoughts were on what we're talking about, because I know you were in the middle of talking when I think I hung up on you.
Well, I was just, talking about, the basic theory about, maybe they're trying to eliminate the insects so they won't pollinate, so therefore there'll be a food shortage and then reduce the population. But anyway, what was thinking about, during my silent time was, I see very few bees now, but one thing I still see that I've had before that I did not understand before was like wasps, different types of wasps. Some are more aggressive than others. Some of them they call mud daubers. But anyway, I always hated them and got rid of them and sprayed them and all that stuff whatever when I saw them, until just a couple of years ago I started to understand who they really are, and I feel really bad about exterminating the ones I did. And they are like a secondary pollinator. And then I think about being with my brother and going to visit this very elderly man out in the middle of nowhere. And he was in a trailer house, and there's these wasps flying back and forth. He said, oh, never mind, they're my air conditioning, which is kind of weird now where I have them in both parts of my...
Daryl, let's continue that thought after the break. The music's here. We'll be right back, everyone. Everyone hit mute. Thanks so much. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com.
Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. And we'll be right back after this message.
Who owns you? If you're not in control, then someone else is. Join me, Ivy West, for Voices on the Wind, Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern in Studio A. I discuss government, health, metaphysics, suppressed science, universal mysteries, little-known incredible facts, alternative energies, and even more than you can imagine.
There was blood on the wire.
Won't you join us on Revolution Radio Saturdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern for Voices on the Wind with me, Ivy West.
There are lives in the balance, people under fire, children at the cannons.
Because if your head's in the sand, your tail is a target.
Hi everybody, it's me, The Fetch, host of Inside the Eye Live. Before the Sunday mainstream media political pundit talk shows, there's Inside the Eye Live, where we break down some of the weekly mainstream media talking points before the talking points even get aired. Add in some entertaining stories, weather, cats, intriguing and informative guests, and you get one of the most listened to Saturday morning streaming media political talk shows going today. And it's all right here on our flagship station, Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. So join me, The Fetch, for Inside the Eye Live every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern. It is truly intelligent media for the politically aware.
I have worked with the CIA, NSA, Templars, and Bilderbergers. Now I work for you. My show will disclose secrets of science and esoteric knowledge. Join me, Stephen D. Kelly, for 2 hours every Thursday night at 10 o'clock Eastern Time on freedomslips.com, Revolution Radio, Studio A. You can also listen to previous shows by going to youtube.com/Free Revolution Radio.
Anti-aircraft guns went into action against unidentified aircraft in the Los Angeles area shortly after 3 a.m. Pacific wartime this morning.
We are far stronger than we were 10 weeks ago.
Zero quarters, all hands man your battle stations.
Be nervous, not your toes. I'll do the mastermind around here.
You who have not seen it do not know what hell looks like from the top.
Well, check it out every Tuesday and Saturday on Revolution Radio. It's a double dose of the internationally recognized renegade military historian Douglas Dietrich.
You'll stay right where you are until I tell you to move out.
Yeah, that's right. Tuesdays from 10 to midnight Eastern Time. Join Douglas Dietrich as he exposes the truth in hidden history on his show Critical Omissions. And then our human weapon of mass destruction is back once again to take your calls on Saturday Night Firing Lines. Both from 10 to 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Only on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
This is Thomas, a.k.a. a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. You opposed government corruption. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here. Revolution Radio. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Anyway, welcome back to the Gray Zone, everyone. I'm Angela Black, and I'm here in place of, or kind of like on the side of, whatever, Rectify, the original host of the Gray Zone, is not feeling well today, so I was happy to step up and take the reins, if you will, for this particular roundtable. That is the Gray Zone here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the number one 100% listener-supported radio station on the net. You can find us on Tuned In. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us, I believe, on Spreaker. I don't know. I'll have to get a confirm on that. I know it used to be that way. But you can also find us here. And there's a variety of ways to listen to us here. But we are 100% listener-supported, which means we have free speech, which is awesome. I don't even think you understand the concept of how important it is to have a platform where we can exchange ideas without being run by corporate agenda, without being run by political campaigns, political agenda, that type of thing. Just in general, we're not run by Monsanto. We're not run by Toyota. We're not run by Obama. You know what I mean? We're here speaking what's on our minds, and I want to welcome the guests here. Before I do, I also want to say that the way to keep us going is to hit the donate button or the site support button on the main page, which is, again, freedomslips.com. And, you aren't going to find yourself donating for no, what's the word I'm looking for? Pleasure in the end. You do get pleasure. You can subscribe to the archives for, I believe, $5 a month. I think they offer them for free now, too, on revolutionradio.tv. I'm not really sure how that works, because I'm only here like once a week right now, so I apologize. I'm a little uninformed, but we've got some really informed people here on this particular call. So that's it. Also, you can donate and get the seed pack, which I did last year. And I have to say, I've got things growing. It's very amazing. So welcome once again to this roundtable, the Gray Zone. We are here for Rectify, and I'm joined by the one, the only Noreen. Wally.
Hello.
Yeah, and Wally's here. Wally. He's also, or maybe he's not. He said he was going to go to sleep at about this hour, so we'll find out. We also have Dory. We have Daryl. Hi, Dory. Thanks for joining me. And we have Daryl here as well, and he's known as Stardust Man in the chat room. And guess what, everyone? Jerry B in the house.
Daddy's in the house.
Welcome,
Hey,
Jerry. Hey.
Going.
How are you? Thanks for joining us.
Well, if I don't, you'll just drag me in anyway. That's what you gals seem to do. So
That's
I might as well go willingly, right?
There you go. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, otherwise it's going to hurt. So.
Right. We don't want it to hurt. I did want to chime in on a little something about the bees.
Okay, great.
I've got two really dear friends in Florida that, they're on, 15, 20 acres. They farm. They do all kinds of stuff. They were in the technological fields for all the years, and then they wanted to simplify things at a good time. It's a good time to own a farm now. And they have honeybees. They've had Henry Parker just passed away. He was like 95, one of the last World War II heroes, and he started the honey business years ago. And I was telling him, I said, I really think that they're killing the bees on purpose. This was a couple of years ago, and they're saying, no, they're not going to do that. That's just suicide. Nobody would be that stupid. And then one bright sunny day, the gal she's seen these planes coming over, and they were spraying stuff. She goes, what is this about? So she called the county, and they said, well, yeah, we're spraying because there's a lot of insects and things that we need to spray. Well, that year she lost. She wouldn't even go there until she lost half her honeybees.
Wow.
So I thought to myself, well, here's a real instance. This isn't YouTube. This isn't something that somebody told me. This is first-hand knowledge from a friend that said that they sprayed, and that year they lost half of their honey. So now she's She fights Monsanto like a bulldog now. She hates them because they killed half her honeybees. Now she believes me. Yeah, they're killing the honeybees because that's the part of the food supply.
Exactly.
I believe that with all my heart.
It's true. I mean, we're looking at things like 3D printing of food and that type of thing. We're looking at robotic insects, et cetera. And, they are going to be changing the way we eat. Natural food is going to be less and less available for the masses and that type of thing. And it's just going to be a very interesting way to play it out. Now, somebody, I believe it might have been Daryl, was bringing up the Georgia Guidestones regarding this whole, tying that in. Were you talking about that, Daryl?
Yeah, I was exactly. I was talking about, maybe it's maybe what the chemtrails, maybe what we think they're doing. Maybe they're actually trying to kill the insects instead. Because kill the insects, no pollination, no food, starvation. Maybe that's what they're after.
Well, not only that, they haven't really pushed it so hard lately that I could tell. Of course, I've been busy with other things lately, but they were pushing this thing of not allowing gardens. I mean, why would anybody disallow somebody to have gardens?
I know. It's crazy.
I mean, there's nothing good about that law. I mean, why would you stop people from being able to? That's the one guy on the internet that Dr. Falcall interviewed. He goes around feeding people. They put him in jail for it.
Yeah.
What's that all about? So it all goes together. If you put the pieces together, then you start to believe. You say, this was really hard for me to accept at first, that somebody would be that stupid or devious, but they are. And they're even worse than that.
Well, if you want to reduce the population by starving people, you sure don't want them to plant gardens,
Yeah, or community gardens, that type of thing. We had some people that went off onto their own radio station, Dark City Radio. I don't have a problem saying that, but they were hosts here, and I had come across, I believe his name is Bob's Backyard, and Bob's your uncle, Bob's Backyard, that type of thing. And he had been shut down because they were growing a community garden in the UK, and I think what ended up happening was they found out that this land that they were growing things on actually had nuclear waste underneath it or something like that. Just a terrible outplay of what ended up happening. But nonetheless, they were kind of shut down, first by the authorities, and then to find out that underneath their particular surface soil was buried in nuclear waste, I believe, which is just terrible. Then you look at other things such as the restriction of collecting rainwater, for your own property or for your own usage, that type of thing. It is bizarre. It is illegal in like 5 states in the United States. Now in Australia, it's a requirement, I believe. They have dew collectors on the top of housing and that type of thing. They were going through a 10-year drought. California is going through a drought. The western part of this particular continent is a drought, and for people not to be able to collect water, and then again, it's just another step. Is another step in the process of stopping the population from eating or drinking water, that type of thing. It's a slow kill, but when you look at the big picture, it's actually kind of a quick kill. When in 10 years, who knows where we're all going to be? Dead bees, dead insects, everything's, aluminumized, if you will, from chemtrails, et cetera. You've got your pesticides all working in, cohesion, not cohesion, but they're all working together with, the agro giants, the agricultural biotech giants, et cetera. And you wonder, who's going to make it? What is the agenda? Does anyone that pushes buttons in the main, button pusher power land of, the universe, do they realize that this is going to affect their families as well? Do they realize that this whole thing is going to explode to the level where, they're going to wish there was 500 million people on the planet? You know what I mean?
Angela.
I think that answer is pretty simple, Angela. If you look at everything is being consolidated. All the big banks are buying up all the small banks. All the mom and pop stores are going out of business and they're being taken over by Targets and Walmarts. Everything's being consolidated. I mean, everything is being consolidated. And when the game is over, you'll have maybe 5 banks that are left. You'll have agriculture. It will be owned by these big factory farms. The guys like Bundy are raising cattle. Well, those guys, well, they're the last ones standing in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just think about it very simply and watch what they've done, not what they say, but what they've done, when the corporations got in bed with the government, and then the money started flowing and the blackmail started coming out, and they started using the CIA for purposes that Kennedy warned against. You know, they're supposed to be out of country. They're not supposed to do anything in this country. And you put it all together, that's the end game. They don't basically want to destroy the planet. What they wanted to do is consolidate everything to a point. And when they get to that point that everything's consolidated, then they're going to figure out who's going to run things. And they're arguing behind the scenes, from what I'm hearing, about who's going to be the actual dictator in this thing. I mean, they're fighting tooth and nail with each other about who's going to run things. But meanwhile, they're still consolidating everything. The plan goes forward. And I've talked to a couple service buddies that I have, and these guys, I asked them, I said, man, what's going on, Bill? What's going on? Give me some scoop. And he just looks at me and he shakes his head. It says, it's not good. It's just not good. I said, well, tell me something. I mean, you don't have to give away military secrets, because I was in the military. I had a high clearance. And he says, well, all I could tell you, man, is we're doing things right now. We're going out drills aren't good. I mean, these drills are not good. I said, well, do they involve the people? And he just kind of looked at me, and he looks around, and he shook his head, yes. That's all I can say, man. He says, it's just not good.
That is scary. Now, Wally had some thoughts as well. Thank you for your input, Jerry. That's very, very insightful and, scary at the same time. I don't even know, what to say. Everything you're saying, I'm nodding my head in agreement because I understand exactly what you're talking about, but it was good to hear your summation of it. I know Wally made some points, and again, I wanted to thank Noreen and Dory also for being here, and Daryl is here as well, and I know that he was in the middle of a point. But let's go to Wally and see what Wally's response is to that particular, beautiful thought process that you had there, Jerry. I mean, it isn't beautiful in its concept, but it's beautiful that you were able to put it all together, because I'm not necessarily able to do that.
Well, this is kind of in the same subject because of what's going on, and not necessarily the bees and the food, but I would like to wish a very happy birthday to someone that hates the one world government, and that gentleman's name is Vladimir Putin. Today is his birthday.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Happy birthday, Vladimir.
I love Putin.
The man, that he is running that country more of a democracy than these idiots are running this corporation that they're calling a country. Don't always agree with them, but God, man's got some intelligence, and he does have some nerves, because they've been egging him, trying to get him to go to war, and he knows what'll happen if he is drawn into a war. But I did want to give out birthday wishings to you, Vladimir. Keep up the good work, and hey, if you got a couple extra, D.C., the Vatican, and the Windsor Castle would look very nice in glass. Happy birthday, Vladimir. But, there was a couple of years back, there was a community group that had a garden, and they were going to have a party at the end of the year when everybody got their crops and got their canning done. They decided they were going to have a party. And what did the government come in and do? Come into their party and poured bleach all over that food, saying it was unfit for human consumption because it was not tested by the FDA and all this other stuff. And this was all a community garden. I don't know if you guys remember that a few years back. Remember when they did that?
Say it again. I'm sorry, I was multitasking while you were talking.
Yeah, say it again.
The community garden, remember there was a group, and I can't remember, I think it might have been in New Hampshire or maybe somewhere in the New England states.
Mm-hmm. And they got shut down by the police or like SWAT teams or something?
And they poured bleach all over the food.
Right.
That they had grown, that they were going to have this big party of everybody that was in the community garden.
Right. And it was because nobody could, none of the big companies could make a profit on it, and they were like, give away food. That's, they were almost looking at it as though it was un-American, the authorities, et cetera. And they made these people, these workers for the government, I believe military, right? Military people?
It was county health department come in and poured bleach all over the food that they spent all summer.
Can you imagine trying to sleep at night being one of those employees and pouring bleach on beautiful food? Can you imagine?
The thinking of people today, I just heard today, and I got to check on it, but my Firefox went down. I was really kind of hoping Rectify was here so he could get me back up and running Firefox, but I'll wait till he gets better. I have patience. They're saying that it's taking longer when the body dies for it to decompose once, the blood's taken out, put in the casket, because of the preservatives in the foods that we're eating or consuming, what we call food, which they've deemed 15% meat, and McDonald's hamburger is hamburger. And the chemicals, they're having a hard time calling the McDonald's bun bread because of all the chemicals in it. Mm-hmm. So it's preserving the body, and they're not rotting.
Yeah, they're saying that 1/3 of the formaldehyde is already in our body that they don't have to put in. They only have to put 2/3 formaldehyde in our body. That's scary. Did you hear the show Robin did the other morning on the McDonald's meat? There was very little meat in it, and they got caught.
Yes, that's where I heard it on Robin's program in the morning.
Event Horizon's here. What time is that at, you guys?
It's
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock Eastern
time.
Okay, 10 to noon Eastern Daylight Time. Yes, and that's called Event Horizons, and that is Dr. Robin Falkhoff. I actually had the privilege of starting that show before it became what it is today, and she's done such a great job with that. So yeah. McDonald's, being shut down in a lot of areas, but nonetheless, kids still eat it. I know a guy who's a wonderful, chef, etc. And he posted on Facebook one day, he showed a big display of McDonald's stuff, and he goes, every once in a while. And he's like, oh my God. I couldn't believe it, but yeah, I don't eat any of that stuff anymore. I make almost all of my own food now, from vegetables, which I hope are not too contaminated with, Monsanto. Chemtrails, pesticides, etc. You try to go organic, but then again, who knows if those are really organic? I mean, maybe they're just plastering a label on that. It's crazy.
You're farther up the mountain than we are, Angela, so you're getting a little bit more of those chemtrails.
Yes. Oh, let me tell you, they are rampant. It is a rape of the skies, as I call it. It is not a pretty thing.
What's interesting is the formaldehyde too that they here in Livonia, Michigan. I keep telling them, and they don't listen to me. They keep putting fluoride in the water here. They're proud of it. I mean, they're such idiots. You know what fluoride does? It draws any aluminum into your body, into your system, into your nervous system.
So that works together nicely for them.
Oh, yes, it does.
I'm lucky enough to not have
actually
fluoride.
Draws aluminum, and that's why they have so many people with dementia and Alzheimer's. It's not that they didn't know; it's just that you didn't have it before. You've got all these aluminum things in the chemtrails and in the water.
You're
it's
breathing
everywhere.
it in. It's in the air. It's in the water. It's in the soil.
And then the fluoride just sucks it right into the nervous system.
That is terrible.
Angela?
Go ahead.
870.
Daryl back in the conversation. Welcome back, Daryl.
Do you know where that is?
What's that?
The area code 870.
Oh gosh, you're going to have to refresh my memory.
Okay, Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Okay, and this particular town in Arkansas that I'm in, they're like totally backwards. All these people are slowly realizing what the fluoride is, and you hear on the news all the time. Like even Israel, they stated back in the end of 2013 that by beginning of 2014 that they're no longer going to have fluoride in their whole country, right? Mm-hmm. And people are just slowly waking up. And what's really weird is the beginning of this year, this city, well, not just this city, but the water that is distributed from a lake that provides this city and other smaller towns around here started fluoridating that water, and we're like backwards from everybody else. We're just now starting fluoridation.
So what? City Council voted it in?
Say what?
City Council voted it in?
No, it's not City Council. It's like a bigger area. Like water supply is like a county thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it's bigger than that. It's like it's a state thing actually. The state decided that any area that supplies over a certain amount of population, like 50,000, which like we're like the city's like a small percentage of that, right? That's how big this area is that this water supply is providing, and the state said that if that certain size area population has to be fluorinated, it's like a state law, and that's what I'm saying. We're like freaking backwards.
Well, here's the major problem here. I was born in 1950, and I remember listening to Alcoa aluminum commercials all over the place on Dinosaur Show, Pat Boone. Alcoa aluminum had this process of making aluminum, and their stock has always been a good stock to have, okay?
And
I had it at one time, and I got rid of it because I realized what they were doing. Fluoride is a byproduct of making aluminum. So instead of paying money to dispose of it, they came out with an ad campaign that was just unbelievable. And telling people it was great for their teeth. Oh, it was just a wonderful thing. Now, instead of paying for getting rid of it, now they actually charge the different cities to put it in their drinking water. Mm-hmm. There is no science whatsoever. And I told the last 3 dentists I had this, I said, stop using fluoride. Mm-hmm. And I gave them links to YouTube where they could go back and see news reports.
Yeah.
And actually see the history on it. You know what? They didn't believe me, so I fired them all.
Glassy-eyed, I can't make money if there's no fluoride. And that type of thing.
You know where it all got started from. It got started from the water.
Campaigns.
No, the whole thing got started from the water in Texas. There is a natural fluoride, which is a completely different kind of fluoride that was naturally in the water in I can't remember where in Texas, but in Texas, that fluoride was a natural fluoride, which is totally different than what they're putting in the water now, which was good for the teeth, made their teeth better. And then, like how many years have we gone by, and they talk about those big Texas white teeth, okay? That's where that came from. Okay, so that's where it kind of started, but then, hey, we got this chemical, it's just like the same thing, just a hair bit different. We got to pay to get rid of it. Hey, it's the next almost same exact thing. We'll call it the same thing and say, hey, and that's where that all got started,
That's the same thing when they put chlorine in the water in the shower. Mm-hmm. Now, that chlorine is not good for you, but when you heat it up and take a hot shower, it changes it to a gas, and it's really bad for your lungs. That's for most lung cancer comes from.
That's very interesting.
Another
hot
thing,
showers.
right? Another thing people don't realize is when it comes to fluoridation, fluoride in the water. You know, people think about, I drink it and I get all this fluoride in my quit drinking water because the fluoride's in it. But what most people do not realize is when you take a shower using fluoridated water, you consume, it goes through your skin, and you consume much, much more of that chemical bathing in it and showering in it than you do drinking it.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah, it's very interesting because, you look at mass population and you look at the fact that there might be microorganisms and microbial, parasites and this type of thing in your water. And I understand the original concept. But what they've done is they've taken it into a level. Now, I'm actually allergic to chlorine. Okay, I'm actually, as a child, it's very difficult for me to swim in swimming pools. I love to swim, but I can't really swim in swimming pools because I start having major asthma attacks, etc. And I'm forced to shower in it because pretty much I think all of America has chlorine in their water. I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure. Fluoride, I think we don't have it here in Lake Tahoe in our water supply, which is amazing. But there's so few metropolitan areas that actually don't have fluoride in their water supply anymore. Chlorine, on the other hand, I think is just rampant everywhere. And I can always feel it coating my skin. And ever since I moved up here, especially in the high altitude with all of the allergens around, I'm at almost 7,000 feet elevation. And then with the water and the chlorine, et cetera, I have to tell you, I've had more asthma problems up here than I've had, in 20, 30 years. It's been really crazy. And, it's very interesting to hear about the shower, heating up the chlorine thing. That I've thought about that for a long time, but I really haven't, actually put that into my whole brain power. And now that you're saying that, it makes a lot of sense because a lot of times I'll come out of the shower really needing to use my inhaler. And that's very interesting that you say that. I don't know. The whole thing's terrible.
Can I tell you just toothpaste?
Yeah.
I use Tom's toothpaste because Tom's has it's the only one I know that has one certain line that has no chlorine.
Fluoride. Mm-hmm.
Fluoride, right. But I bought a little, the little travel size Crest. Maybe I shouldn't say the name, but anyway,
Colgate. It's fine. We're free speech here.
I bought it only for one purpose. One purpose was to read the warning label off the label to people. Mm-hmm. Can I read that right now, please?
Sure, if you've got it in front of you, absolutely.
I've got it right in front of me. Okay. Warning. Keep out of reach of children under 6 years of age. If more than used for brushing is accidentally swallowed, get medical help or contact a poison control center right away. That I just read that right off this tube of toothpaste.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What does that tell you?
It is freaky. I know. Absolutely. And it's also very interesting because it really doesn't, prevent tooth decay. I'm thinking just brushing your teeth with, a mild abrasive such as like baking soda, hydrogen peroxide to some degree, depending on what your mixture is, and maybe a little peppermint oil, that type of thing. If you want to go with a natural product and you don't have any Toms around, you can find household products that can help you with, cleaning your teeth. I don't think fluoride has much to do with it at all. Interestingly, I want to bring this up. Another misconception in the general public's knowledge because of what they're being told by corporate agenda is, for instance, that and I've talked about this on my show. I think this was a couple of years ago when I had a show here. I've had a variety of shows here on Revolution Radio, as you all know. Or maybe you know. Well, anyway. So there's a water purification system that you can buy at your local, Costco, Target, Walmart, whatever, and it's called Pure. And luckily, like I said, we're not fueled by sponsors here. We don't have to follow corporate agenda. We can say the brand names of products, which is beautiful because
I'm glad you reminded me of that because sometimes I think, you're right. We really
absolutely can.
Yep, awesome.
Absolutely. Okay, so Pure, which is P and then a U with a couple of dots on it at R, it's a water filtration system that you can either hook onto your faucet, you can put it on your fridge, if you get the water, dispenser out of your fridge, or you can just put it in a pitcher and then pour your water into the pitcher and filtrate through, so you can get some, clean drinking water. Well, it prides itself on working with the American Dental Association to look forward to helping kids with their, hold on, we've got Nick calling. Let me just add him to the call. Welcome, Nick. Just in the middle of a rant. Welcome, Nick, to the call. Are you there?
Nick.
I think he's here. I'm not sure. Okay, well, anyway, just to finish this thought, and hopefully Nick is joining us. I think he is.
Hi, sorry for the crackling.
That's okay, Nick. I'm just going to finish this rant, but welcome to the call on Revolution Radio here on the Gray Zone. I'll just finish my rant. Okay, so Pure Water Filtration prides itself on working with the American Dental Association in helping kids and people, keep their healthy teeth by not specifically filtering fluoride out of the water. And I was in shock when I read this, and thank God the Lake Tahoe water supply does not have fluoride in its municipal water. I just want to bring that up. I looked it up just now, and that is a terrific thing. It's called the TCPUD, and that may just be the California side. I actually have to look a little further into the Nevada side. I'm 2 miles from the California border, so I'm assuming they're different water, municipality treatment.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I am lucky. I do live in paradise, etc. Okay, to continue this thought, I was so shocked to see that, that this particular filtration system does not filter fluoride out. And I was so thankful that we don't have that in our water supply, because I just couldn't believe my eyes when I was reading this, and I was thinking about the miseducation to the public by, the American Dental Association, by corporations selling water filtration systems to people and priding themselves on keeping fluoride as part of your water supply and not filtering it out. I was blown away. So that's my thought process. And I think we lost Dory on the call. So, Dory, thanks for joining us. You're a doll, and we were glad to have you on the call. And sorry we didn't get to you much more, but thank you very much for lurking, my dear friend. Okay, so, hello, continue.
I don't mean to do any plugging, but the only one that I know of, I'm sure there's more out there, but the only one I know that do sell filters to separate the fluoride is Berkey water filter.
Yeah, the Berkey water, and that's a separate addition to the filtration system. Right.
Yeah. You got to buy that separate.
Yeah.
It's a specialized filter that they sell. The normal Berkey does not, but they sell a special filter that does separate chlorine.
Right.
Yeah, if you buy the ProPure, it's a lot like the Berkey, but its normal filter also filters out fluoride.
And how do you spell that, Nick?
PROPURE, I believe.
Thanks.
Yeah, similar to the Berkey, but their filters, you don't need any extra attachments. It also any reverse osmosis filter removes fluoride, because reverse osmosis was a process they developed for desalination of seawater, and it actually strips out everything. I mean, it turns it into practically distilled water. They found that with reverse osmosis that the water was so mineral poor that it actually corroded the insides of their storage and piping facilities, and they had to remineralize just to stop it from eroding away all their equipment. Imagine what it does to your body. Our bodies need ionic minerals dissolved in the water, and so people who are drinking filtered water, according to ProPure and Berkey, they claim that it leaves in the beneficial minerals. I don't see how it can do that, because fluoride is an extremely small, tiny molecule, which is why a lot of filters have a hard time filtering it. But like I say, reverse osmosis is like down to the micron level and does remove just about everything. It's the very next thing to distilled, which is very caustic for the body.
Distilled water is caustic?
Yes, it strips minerals out of your body instead of, you need electrolytes.
It attaches to the free radicals or something like that, right? And it grabs on?
Yeah, actually, if you're sick, filtered or distilled water is good, because, it does also attach to some of the toxins that are being produced in your body. But when you're healthy and well, what you need to be drinking is groundwater. preferably spring water. Yeah.
Now, see, we have a spring up here in Lake Tahoe that my husband and I sometimes visit, and we fill up our gallons. I save my gallon things when I do buy them, and we go and fill up 10 gallons of water and drink that. And I do the purification thing with the MMS and an activator, usually a lemon drop per drop, it's 1-to-1 ratio, et cetera. Because I'm a little nervous. I love the idea of groundwater, but God knows, after you've got chemtrails sprinkling down and for instance, we had fires up here, et cetera, and God knows what that brings into the atmosphere, because of all of the aluminum-filled particles that are burning in the air and how that's all making particulate matter. That falling down into the ground, onto the ground and, into the soil, et cetera, and that producing groundwater. I'm a little nervous now about drinking groundwater. I don't know.
Well, the nice thing is that the ground is still an amazing filter, and most of the chemtrails, of course, falling onto the surface, and a lot of your spring water comes from pretty deep underground, and so, the earth provides, and it is an amazing source to get spring water, and I wouldn't even worry about bacteria too much. Mm-hmm. Although some places you do have to worry about that, of course. But for me, I'm not a bacteriophobe, and it's good for the body to have some of that natural bacteria as well. The other thing about fluoride, it's actually calcium fluoride that occurs naturally in groundwater.
Okay.
And it is an essential nutrient and is an essential mineral. However, it's only a micronutrient. We need very, very tiny amounts. And what our friend there was referring to is actually a Colorado area that where they did the study into research on something called Colorado brown stain.
Okay.
And this was where they found high concentrations of calcium fluoride, which is 50 times less toxic than the sodium fluoride they're putting in our water.
Okay.
And even though it's 50 times less toxic, it was still causing dental fluorosis in these high levels that were found in this area of Colorado.
Isn't that interesting?
It was a study done in 1901. And they claim that he also found that these mottled brown chipping pitted enamel were remarkably resistant to decay. I don't know how they can claim that, since it seems like mottled pitted enamel is already decayed.
Right.
So it's a lot of real manipulation of history there. It's real sick.
Wow.
And they want to do everything they can to keep us sick. That's why they say, "Oh no, don't take the fluoride out. We worked so hard poisoning you in the first place. Don't unpoison the water."
Yeah.
They also use the cheapest plastic too, the ones that with the female hormones in it for bottled water and stuff, and baby bottles.
Yeah, it is. The plastic, emanating its toxins into the water, it can't be denied. It's going to happen. Water's a solvent. You've got it in plastic. If it's a cheap plastic, obviously there's going to be some type of, coagulation, some solution happening. Don't you think? I mean, it's almost common sense. It is common sense, really.
Well, yeah, they've got different grades of plastic, and they use the one that's the most dangerous, for people, for bottled waters and stuff. They're just doing it to us. That's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to say I was listening to, I don't remember where the show was from or whatever, but they were talking about which is worse, drinking fluoride water and they were saying the best thing to drink is spring water, which is what I've been doing ever since they started fluoridating the water from the beginning of this year. I've been buying spring water, and they said, which is worse, buying bottled water and you get that effect, or drinking the water out of the tap, which is fluoride. And what they more or less said on that show was, just try and buy your water from somewhere. People don't like this place at all. I realize that. People do not like Walmart, but they said the probably the best thing to do is to buy water from someone where the water is not in that bottle very long. Someone who sells a high volume. So therefore, from the time it's put in the bottle, from the time it's sold, would be the best place to buy it, and That's the only reason they said to buy it from Walmart. Okay.
Yeah, the problem with the bottled water I found too, my daughter was a big fan of it. I had a friend that has a friend that tests stuff like that. He has the lab to do it. And I think there was only, I don't remember the name, there was only 1 out of 12 different bottled waters that I gave him that didn't have some of the same products in it that we're talking about from the water we get. We get ours from the Detroit River here. And they're putting it in there too. So what I did is I went back and I just started using distilled water. And I know it's clean and I know it's pure, but I also supplement my vitamins and minerals every day because you're not going to get it like you would from the water, especially spring water.
That's kind of like the same they were saying, but you know, that's why they said spring water. Not, I mean, they sell what they call drinking water, and there's, you know, different waters. You know, they suggested spring water because, you know.
Well, spring water would be the best, but distilled water would be even better because as long as you supplement with your nutrients, you'll be fine. And you know that it doesn't have the chemtrails on it. It's not anywhere near the fracking that's going on. There's so much going on right now. How do you trust any of it, you know, unless it's distilled?
What they say is even a person who eats a diet rich in all the nutrients and minerals, but still drinks filtered or distilled water, is going to be nutrient mineral deficient because you're not getting the dissolved ions of these minerals that are absolutely essential for the body's electrolyte load. Also, when you bottle distilled water, again, it erodes and eats away at whatever is containing it. And so all of the chemicals, the BPA and the plastics are going to be even greater concentrations in bottled filtered water. But spring water, since it already has a mineral load, the higher the parts per million, the better. It's less reactive to whatever is containing it.
Another way they're getting us too is that it's been proven that 95% of the population is, 87 to 90% for sure, maybe higher now, is low on magnesium. They come in about 2.2, and they should be about 6.8.
Yeah, I saw in the chat room that you put magnesium helps to clear the calcium buildup in the pineal gland. So please do elaborate.
When you take the magnesium away from people that they need, so we used to get it because everybody lived near the oceans when we first, you know, came to the continent, and you get it from fish. I mean, fish is loaded with that, but guess what? With Fukushima and the Gulf spill and everything, guess what people aren't eating anymore that has all the magnesium in it. See, it's a plan that's been put together. I mean, it hasn't just
it's not
happened.
An accident.
It's a plan.
Yeah.
And if you you connect all the dots, it's quite easy to tell, you know, what's going on here. So I make sure I supplement myself with my magnesium and keep it up to about 6.8. It keeps diseases away. Magnesium is so important. I mean, it is so important. And yet most people, 90% of us, are deficient on it.
Now, I'm assuming that there are different grades of magnesium that you can buy in your, you know, supplements. You know, for instance, you know, on another note, you have, you know, calcium supplements, but, you know, if you buy calcium carbonate, it's basically just like, you know, consuming chalk, and it doesn't really necessarily, it's not necessarily the best absorption, you know, quality calcium that you can do. So that's why people do oyster shell calcium, etc. Is there a particular magnesium that you find to be better than others?
Well, the problem is this, that if you look at the doctors, they're taught certain things in medical school. They're taught that, you know, that nutrients and stuff like that, they have no place. They're just bunch of urine, which is so far from the truth. They're taught through the pharmaceuticals to use drugs to cure people, unless they're a surgeon, naturally. Well, they've got it ass backwards. They have way too much calcium, and until I realized that I was consuming way too much calcium too. That's why people are still having osteoarthritis and all these problems, because you really need twice as much magnesium to calcium, because calcium will clog everything up if you don't have enough magnesium. Magnesium breaks it down so it doesn't get into the pineal gland and in the bloodstream. Well, that's where it causes problems. It goes where it needs to go, and then you don't overload on it. That's the big problem.
Okay, so what is your magnesium intake of choice? Yours.
My choice was magnesium citrate and Epsom salts.
Mm-hmm.
Epsom salt that's why it's so good. It has a lot of magnesium in it.
Like, I'll bathe in Epsom salt. Are you saying that you
it's
consume
fantastic.
it? Or? Yeah, I know people who bathe in, magnesium oil. They were saying that, they do the, like I've been doing a lot of diatomaceous earth lately, which is a calcium-based product, et cetera, that helping, remove the body of, heavy metals and toxins and parasites and worms and that type of thing. But, then the person that I'm speaking of, also bathes in magnesium oil and I believe Epsom salt, if I'm not mistaken. And, she swears by it as, both of those help her stay healthy all the time. That's what this.
Well, there's about 5 different types of magnesiums, and the best one up until a year ago or so was magnesium citrate, because if you can't take too much of magnesium, because if you do, you'll have a laxative effect. Then you can back off on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I found a new product that's brand new in the last year. It's called Remag. It's 100% absorbed.
Oh, Remag.
Yep. So I've been using it and telling people about it. It's a great product.
Is it magnesium chloride?
Citrate?
No. Apparently, the most bioavailable magnesium is magnesium chloride.
It's a special formula. It was just formulated within the last year. It's the only one of them that's 100% absorbable without a laxative effect.
And what is your thought? What are your thoughts on magnesium chloride? Thank you, Jerry, for your input. Nick, what are your thoughts on magnesium chloride? Good, bad, ugly?
Well, my understanding is that you mentioned magnesium oil, and if my understanding is correct, then magnesium oil is magnesium chloride mixed with water.
Okay.
When you mix magnesium chloride with water, it becomes oily.
Okay. And is that good or bad?
Yeah, apparently one of the greatest benefits of magnesium chloride is for people with muscle discontrol, such as Parkinson's disease.
Okay.
And it goes in, and what happens is glutamate is one of the primary neurotransmitters in the nervous system. And what it does is it opens the synapses, and then calcium pours in to fire that synapse, and then it's magnesium that closes that synapse.
Mm-hmm. And breaks it down, as Jerry's saying?
Well, it does also, emulsify calcium, but I'm talking about the neurological functionality that it, in order for your nerves to properly fire, with insufficient calcium, with too much glutamate, i.e. through monosodium glutamate, you have overexcited nervous system. Mm-hmm. And that's what's going to cause jitteriness. It's going to cause all kinds of emotional, we're talking about all of these Prozacs and everything they're dumping on people. And really all it is you get your proper nutrients in the food. You start growing food with all of the minerals that are supposed to be in the soil, instead of just growing it with, fertilizers, chemical fertilizers. Then all of these nutrients and minerals are going to be in the food. And then we would never have to worry about any of this.
Right.
And that's why they work so hard to corrupt the food supply and then make sure we have no idea about any of this.
Yeah.
But I've tried magnesium citrate, magnesium, what's this other one I have here? I have dystonia, which is muscular discontrol, cervical dystonia in the neck muscles.
Okay.
And I have not been able to find it. I go to the health food stores. I was just there the other day, and I was asking for magnesium chloride, and they said, nope, don't have it. And I put in a request for whoever is the procurer for this place at Vita Health, and I haven't heard back from them yet.
Well, I'm looking on the net. They've got some things available. A lot of it looks like Swanson is a big provider of magnesium chloride. So I don't know.
I'll tell you, the people that have been using this Remag, including myself, shaky, all these symptoms that people have with tired legs and sore muscles and eye twitches, and it just goes on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
So this Remag is such a good product. I recommend it to everybody, and I don't recommend stuff to people very often.
Interesting.
But I've heard not just myself, but other people too are just getting really good results with this type of magnesium. It's the only type that's ever been to the point that it's 100% absorbable. Even magnesium citrate was, only like 30% at best. And it doesn't cause the laxative effect either. It's a great product. I mean, you ought to try a bottle of it and see what you think, because it's good stuff.
And it says RNA Reset. That's the website.
Yeah, that's the website. I sent you the website there. You can check it out. It's called Remag.
Okay, Remag. All right. I'm going to check it out. Now, we haven't heard, I don't know if Noreen's still here. Noreen, are you here? I don't know if I know she's lurking. And then we also have Daryl.
I got a question for you.
Yes. Daryl, welcome.
You bought the seed pack, right?
Yes.
Did you plant the tomatoes out of it?
Yes.
And how'd they do?
They're doing fine. As a matter of fact, they're late bloomers, because I had also bought some tomato plants from the store, that were like in the little pots that you grow that are beginner kits, etc. But I did grow. I have 3 pots of tomatoes now fruiting, which is very interesting, because I planted them back in like March, April, maybe. And some of them are just fruiting now, but all of a sudden, tons of tomatoes are coming out of those seeds from the seed pack that I bought here at Revolution Radio.
Did you give those little tomatoes any Epsom salts?
I did. In the very beginning, I absolutely put Epsom salts in the soils.
Exactly.
Yes.
Epsom salt is very good. And peppers love the eat out of Epsom salt.
Do you think I should add more? I did it in the beginning because everyone told me, make sure not too early, because you don't want to, shock them to death, but then put it on there. And I haven't done it since, but I did do it a couple of weeks in a row.
I always gave it at the beginning, and then every once in a while, to give you an idea of, anybody that plants tomatoes, usually I just buy the little starters, right? But my technique of planting them is one thing I probably should have done that somebody told me would be a good idea that I never did do, and he said you have a hole and you put your tomato in, but take an old baby diaper and put it in there, because they got that material.
Diatomaceous earth.
Water, right. Anyway, so what I did is I took and bought some, I think it was like 10-inch diameter sewer drain pipe, and cut them in. And I cut those in like 1 foot lengths or 10-inch lengths, and put them down in the ground, where about 4 inches sticking up above the ground, and put that tomato down in the bottom of that. Of course, I put Epsom salts in first, right? And then, therefore, when I go to water them, only the water for the tomato is going to be, I'm not watering the weeds all around it. That way, when I water them, I'm just watering them, right? But so what I did, but tomatoes will climb. So what I did is I took these. They're like, I don't know how tall they are, but like 8 foot, I guess, because 2 foot down the ground, 6 foot above. Put up these T-posts, and I took these what they call hog panels, real thick wire, and it's like kind of like a real, very, very thick wire type fence, and put that where it's like the bottom of it is, they're 4 foot tall, but I put them like at least 5 feet above the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so, 5 foot plus 4 foot, that's what, 9 foot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I took a little electric fence post, electric, basically same thing as rebar, right? Stuck them in the ground next to them so they could climb up them. And when they got to the top of them, then they would get to the bottom of the hog panels. And those things would grow up all the way to the top of those. We're talking about 9 foot up there, right?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, right. And the first time I did it, I put them much taller, but the only problem is I had to use a damn ladder to pick the tomatoes,
Listen, I hate to cut you off, but we are just about at the end of the show, and I would like to have another conversation about this sometime soon. Daryl, I appreciate you joining us. We also have Nick on the call. Jerry B has joined us. We also had Dory Bar and Heather on the call, and Noreen is here as well. And I think we've only got a couple seconds left, but I just wanted to interrupt real quick and tell everyone that you are listening to Revolution Radio, www.freedomslips.com, the number 100% listener-supported radio station on the net. We can always use your donations, so please do visit the site support tab above on the main page or the donate button on the side of the chat, and we always are happy to bring you free speech here on this amazing Truth Network. So that's very interesting, and I'm loving the topic. I'm sorry we're almost out of time. Now next week, if I am here, I wanted to get into the electricity in the blood and how that's curing blood diseases, etc. The electricity in the blood thing. That you can make like an invention for like $1 and some change. You can buy all the supplies at your local, Radio Shack, which is no longer going to be in existence, etc. But so that'll be electrifying the blood, something like that. I'm looking forward to talking about that in the near future. I don't know if that'll be on this show or somewhere else, depending. But anyway, so any final thoughts? I apologize for interrupting again, Daryl, but I appreciate your thoughts. Jerry, any last thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to say if anybody needs a transfusion, my blood is cooties free.
All right, everyone. Jerry B offering blood transfusion, blood for you. Nick, any last thoughts?
I was just looking at Epsom salts is magnesium sulfate, and then looks like Remag is magnesium oxide.
Okay.
So that sounds like pretty. There's all kinds of new products coming out. I've never heard of before, like oxidizers and stuff like that. So yeah, keep looking into the supplements.
Yeah, and the magnesium. That's
Great
awesome.
Stuff.
Okay, Daryl, thanks so much for joining us. Let's talk soon. And everyone, thanks so much. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. This has been The Gray Zone. Rectify, come back next week for next week.
Thank you.
The only thing I'd like to say to everyone is I love you all.
Oh, Daryl,
we
you're
love
the best.
you too.
All right.
We love you too.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Listening to Revolution